Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Peterson. I'm the Communications Director for the Colon Cancer Coalition. So thankful to have the invitation from the Global Colon Cancer Alliance to share what we are doing in the young onset colorectal cancer space. Give me a moment, I'll share my slides and we can get started. All right. The Colon Cancer Coalition is a Minnesota-based nonprofit. We are located here in a small suburb outside of Minneapolis called Edina. You may know us more with our Get Your Rear and Gear or Tour de Tush event series. We have about 35 of those scheduled across the country for 2020. Circumstances being what they are, we have had many that are rescheduled or going virtual, but the work continues and we're still here. Money raised at those local events do stay in the local community. So, and they fund screening programs, educational programs, patient support, and awareness messaging. Our organizational focuses are on increasing screening rates for average risk individuals, so getting people to schedule their screening at age 45. In addition, we want the education of all and the importance of on-time screening. And on-time screening can mean different things from different people. Average risk, obviously 45. If you're having signs and symptoms, obviously that means something different. You need to be screened earlier, or if you have a family history, that can push your screening date earlier as well. Some of our additional efforts are patient support, wellness programs, additional pieces like that, and then also research. And our research focus really is around the young onset piece, the hows and the whys that people are, that's the question on everyone's mind when it comes to this, issue. But young onset really is in our DNA. Susie Lindquist-Meldy, who you see in the purple there, lost her life to colorectal cancer when she was only 42 years old in the early 2000s. She left behind a beautiful family, 2 sons and a daughter, who have now taken up her mantle to continue educating. But her sister, Kristen Lindquist, needed to do something after she lost her best friend and her sister. She brought Get Your in Gear, which was Susie's mantra, to an event and started the event in the Twin Cities. And from there, we have grown into a national organization. But the young onset piece really has been part of our DNA all along. This is our team. There are 11 of us that do this work, from our national programming to all of the individual events. This is us on a recent staff meeting, all sharing the positive things that we are working on personally during this time of self-isolation and quarantine. Young adult program and campaign outreach. We do know that nationwide about 1 in 10 colorectal cancer cases are diagnosed in young adults, so about 10%. That puts the Colon Cancer Coalition in a really good position, and actually a disproportionate number of our patients and survivors fit into that young onset category. About 44% of our self-identified patients that were registered for Get Your Gear or Tour de Tush event in 2018 were under the age of 50. And 43% of all participants nationwide were in that 20 to 50-year-old category. So that gives us a good opportunity to really help those young patients, as well as educate the rest of our participants about the increase in young onset colorectal cancer, as well as the signs and symptoms of the disease and what they really need to be watching out for. We do a lot of our young adult outreach through social media. Just one example, our Facebook reach demographics, that 25 to 44-year-old age range is bulk of our audience, that 43% bulk of, or our largest age group, and then that 45 to 54-year-old, and we really are trying to get people screened because we know screening rates are really low in that age group, is our next biggest age group. We do a lot of outreach through awareness materials. We have 2 materials right now that are aimed at young onset, one in English and one in Spanish. In 2019, we distributed nearly 4,000 of these to individuals. So someone will call and say, I want to do an awareness event. I want to tell other people that I was diagnosed at a young age. Do you have anything that I can share with my family and friends? I want to do something at my church, at my community center. And we are happy to share these resources with them. Just in the first 2.5 months really of 2020, we had distributed over 2,100 pieces in young onset, which is a significant increase over 2019, and we anticipated those numbers to skyrocket. Obviously, as the world has changed, our plans may change as well, but those requests for those materials are still flowing in. We do try to make sure that any of our materials do include some symptom awareness. So if someone were to pick up a screening message and see symptoms on the back, even if they're under that age 45 and they're in the young onset category, they might take action and call a doctor to get evaluated. We use actual photos and real stories of young onset patients and survivors whenever possible. You might recognize the wonderful smiling face there on the left. I love Vanessa's quote of, "If you have a colon, you're at risk." I think she's spot on there. We use a variety of faces, genders, ethnicities as well to make sure we try to hit all the buckets and find that there'll be some graphic that resonates with someone somewhere. The young woman in the front was part of a program we did with Alive and Kick It, specifically aimed at Lynch syndrome and the family history side of the colorectal cancer. Amber is an incredible survivor, and her story is just amazing. We did tell her story for Faces of Blue if you want to see it. It's in our Faces of Blue on our website. We also use messages that are cautionary and or inspiring. Just two examples in both of these young men are coincidentally from the Houston, Texas area. Vinny Robbins was 15 years old when he was diagnosed. He is doing well. He actually spoke at the Get Your In Gear event last fall. And Michael Alexander Robinson unfortunately passed away at 16 years old from colorectal cancer. Both of those stories resonated with our audiences. And again, there's the link for our Faces of Blue if you want to check those out. I'm sharing these slides with Vanessa so she can share those. Those links will be live when she sends them. But a significant number of our Faces of Blue stories, and that series is about 6 years old, are the young onset patients. We also, in addition to stories, use blunt messaging. No holds barred, don't pull any punches. We want people to know and be in their face with what is happening. And this is something that came from patients themselves. We did an internal survey, completely unscientific. We just wanted to hear from patients, young onset patients, what they knew before they were diagnosed, what their symptoms were, and if we could have said anything to them prior to their diagnosis, if it would have made a difference. One question we asked, were you aware that young people could be diagnosed with colorectal cancer? 73% said, no, I wasn't aware, or maybe, I don't know, not sure. The second question is, did you have symptoms that you ignored or tried to self-treat? 75% of our young onset patients that responded to our informal survey said, yes, they had symptoms that they tried to self-treat. So we asked, what were those symptoms? The blood in your stool, rectal bleeding, and weight loss, those really resonated with us that we could do some messaging around. And then if you had seen a message, or where would you have seen a message? Online, magazines, or public spaces were places that we thought we could do something that would, that could have an impact. So we tried something. In the fall of 2018, we worked with a media buying partner and had an opportunity to put in-your-face, blunt symptom awareness messages on the streets of downtown Boston. 27 million impressions over 4 weeks on 40 three-sided kiosks. We partnered this with a magazine, a newspaper advertisement, and their online platform. For 4 weeks, really told them blood in your stool is not normal, unexplained weight loss is not normal, and then the shocking news stat that 1 in 23 Americans will be diagnosed. Additional messages that work well, we take advantage of unique and quirky holidays and a little bit of edgy humor. We've been doing a Shark Week kind of call out with the popularity of sharks and how it compares to colorectal cancer. We've been doing that going on 6 years now. National Scrabble Day, want to make sure people check their colon. Llama Day, Lost Day. Make a booty call. That's not specifically young onset because we are asking people to call and schedule a colonoscopy, but it does resonate with young people. And we get requests for that graphic all the time. We, in addition to like the animal days, we also do like Taco Day or National Avocado Day. Banana Day is coming up. And try to tune into the hashtags that people are using on those days. We also, the check your colon message, you saw that also in the Scrabble Day. This graphic was developed with a partnership with one of our young Onset board members, who's a marketing guy, in conjunction with our Marcom team. And that was back in 2012, and we're still using it, and it's still resonating with audiences today. And then who can forget the stolen colon? We took advantage of this opportunity when a colon was stolen out of the back of a pickup truck in suburban Kansas City. In a year from the time it was stolen until its anniversary, in those 12 months, stolen colon reached over 1 billion people worldwide, and mostly via Twitter. And Twitter is really a good demographic, or a good platform to reach the young demographics. As you can see, the 18 to 29 and the 30 to 49 are really the bulk of Twitter users. Measuring impact and success. This is something we continue to struggle with. We didn't have the dollars to do the pre and post surveying in Boston to see if that campaign had measurable impact. But what we can find out, and what we heard from that campaign specifically, is people saw it and they were surprised by it, and it made them stop and think. So hopefully one person at least would take action from seeing that blood in your stool is not normal. So the anecdotal evidence, reading a survivor story or saying they saw an awareness campaign and took an action, we have heard those stories, and that is always makes us know that we're headed in the right direction. And just another way is the engagement of a piece on social media. Lessons learned. Keep trying. Everything we do doesn't always work, but just keep swimming. Keep trying something new. That one message that you didn't think worked very well may have resonated with someone, and they may have gotten screened or called their doctor for an evaluation. You never know. Future plans, just keep swimming. We're going to keep trying the things that we know are working, trying new things, new quirky holidays, new days, new partnerships, but just keep moving. This problem isn't going to solve itself, and we all need to keep going. We'll continue to tell early age onset stories through our Faces of Blue. I geek out whenever I see Rebecca Siegel announce any new data from the American Cancer Society. We are continuing to work with the Colon Cancer Foundation. Hi, Cindy. The EAO Summit that was planned for this month together in New York, but is now going virtual, and then investigating ways that we can continue to help with and fund research into the whys and how of the EAO situation. And then joint programs and campaigns. The EAO Summit with the Colon Cancer Foundation, we worked with the Colon Club to create videos that featured survivors and featured caregivers to share personal stories through video, which is always really impactful. We partnered with Alive and Kickin' on the Living with Lynch program that included a sample of the graphic you saw with Amber and also a video series. Our relationships with NCCRT and others in the space, and then we have great working relationships with the others on this panel and look forward to future collaborations with them as well. So this is where I would ask for questions about anything that came up, but instead, if you have a question, there's my email address, and that's my direct phone number. Feel free to drop me a line, shoot me a text, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk through anything with you. Any of our materials that you saw, we are happy to provide and co-brand for you to try on your own. And I'd be happy to discuss that with you. Again, thank you so much to the Global Colon Cancer Alliance. I appreciate the time to share with you the work that we are doing, and look forward to hearing what others are doing. And everyone, stay healthy and safe until we can meet